Hi, everybody, and welcome to Beer, Wine, and Shine. So today, um, we're gonna see if this is ready. This is the hard apple cider. Um, Still got some airlock activity going. I'm not sure if it's done. It's starting to clear up. It's got a good sediment down at the bottom. Um, I'm not really seeing any. There's some stuff falling, but I don't see anything coming up. I'm not really seeing any signs of fermentation active. There's a little bit of bubbles here. I kind of don't think it's quite done, but I do want to get a reading on it and just see how close it is. Let me get my stuff up here on the table. I got it down here in my sanitizer bucket, and we'll get this party started. Okay, now that I've mentioned before, uh, I really don't think this is quite done, but we're going to find out, or at least see how it's going. Make sure it didn't stall or something. But if I stir up the sediment in the bottom, I'm not too worried about it. And even if it is done and ready to rack, it's going to be under its first racking. I need to get me a new one of these things. This one here kind of sucks. The hole in the middle of it's too big. Oop, I just spilled a little. I'm going to try to run this down the side. I'm not really worried about oxygenating at this point. Like, there's a lot of degassing that needs to happen. I did watch an episode of City Steading Brews. Shout out to Brian and Derica there. They did a video on these here thingamabobbers to find out which one was the best. And they ordered like a bunch of them, and they found out that the ones with the little tiny holes, they don't leak because the hole is small enough to hold back the liquid. Well, this one's a big one, so it leaks. It sucks. Whatever. I need to rewatch that video to find out the link and buy it because I really kind of want it. There's ones at my homebrew shop. They look like they got, oh, goddamn. That thing dropped straight down. Oh, wow. I'm going to say this is done. That's a lot dunner than I thought it was. There's still a couple bubbles here, though. It's at a 1.0. It's straight dry, 1.0. I thought it was a 0.94 or 0.094, but it's a 1.0. So now what am I going to do? I think I'm going to go ahead and rack it into secondary. If it's got any more fermentation to go, it will do it there, because it's going to be in secondary for probably at least a couple weeks, if not a month. That reminds me, I almost messed up, didn't I? You saw that, didn't you? I seen it. I did it. Get into my brew cabinet here. Got a bucket here in my way. Hopefully one of these days I'll get a little better at this whole YouTube thing. You got to do a taste test, right? That's BrewTube 101 right there. You got to do a taste test. This is my Glencairn from George Washington Distillery when I visited. And I'm just going to pour this right on in here. Get me a little taste tester here. All right. Clarity wise, cloudy as MF. I am trying to, I'm a bit of potty mouth. By a bit of a potty mouth, I mean, I'm a potty mouth. I mean, on my YouTube channel, I really am trying to keep like it pretty well PG. It's more about YouTube, and I don't want to get strikes. So on the smell, it's very young. And okay, so one thing that a lot of people say is that it's young. And I never really understood what that meant, really. I consider, okay, so fermentation itself has a bit of a smell. I call it the smell of fermentation and rot. Now, a lot of people will turn their nose up when I say rot. Okay, it's not like you threw a bunch of fruit out there in the yard for 2 weeks out in the baking sun and go out there and smell it. It's rotting. It's not like that. It's just fermentation rot. It's funky without the bad. I don't know. We'll see how it tastes. I don't know. It kind of instantly makes my tongue go dry. Oh yeah. So that was the long sip where you put it in your mouth and you just play around with it for a little bit. The whole time it's in there, like, it's definitely dry. I know what the smell and taste is now. This still has the spices in it. This needs to come off them spices. Oh yeah, that's that nutmeg. All right, guys, I'm back. So I went ahead and I siphoned this into here off camera. And this is a 1.4 gallon fermenter from Northern Brewer. It's the little big mouth bubbler. Northern Brewer, please make a 2-gallon. That would be awesome. You have a 1.4, you have a 3. A 2 would be awesome sauce. And if anybody knows where I can get a 1.5 gallon like carboy with a closed mouth that would hold 1.5 gallon all the way up to the neck, that would be great too, because that would have been preferred. I would totally buy one as long as it's not like 500 bucks. So anyway, there's a lot of surface area there, but I mean, it is what it is. I was kind of looking for that spiced apple, but kind of a cooked apple and cooked spice. I mean, it's not the flavor profile that I was hoping for as far as that goes. It doesn't really have, I think, I'm trying to figure it out. There's something that's overpowering it. And I want to think that it's the nutmeg. I feel like it's the nutmeg. Grabbing my liquid of choice, the vodka. This is, I don't know, Barton's Premium. I was going for like a McCormick's, but I think it's the same price. I was just going for a cheapo vodka, the cheapest, biggest bottle of vodka the liquor store had, and this was it. I used to use sanitizer. However, had some problems with sanitizer going into my bubbler here. Problem with sanitizer is that it foams. And when this thing starts activating, I literally bubbled up on multiple ones, and the bubbles all come running down here. And whenever it subsided, I barely had any sanitizer left in my bubbler. Vodka doesn't do that. This thing will finish fermenting. It will degas. I mean, it's got positive pressure. It's bubbling right now. I think it's degassing. Any oxygen that I did put into it is being expelled as we speak. So I guess that concludes today for this brew. Whew, I'm getting a little buzzed already. It's only, what is it? Is it 12 o'clock yet? It's been here in secondary, I think, since the 4th of January. This is now like the, I don't know, 22nd or something. So what I need to do here, I'm gonna have to get that lid off first, is I want to check it again. I'm pretty sure it's done. Pretty sure if I remember right, this was completely dry to begin with. But then we're gonna, that's on there tight. We're gonna pasteurize this whole thing. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because I'm gonna be back sweetening this. I don't want this to kick fermentation back up. Okay. As of right now, it's dry, it's done. It's done. However, once you back sweeten it, you're adding more sugar. This is only a 12%. It will go higher. And I don't want to bust my bottles or my keg or whatever. It smells good. All right. We're just gonna, whoops. We're gonna see what we got here. .998. That's pretty dry. So I'm going to rack this off real quick. I'm going to go ahead and rack this because it's got a lot of sediment in the bottom here. It's not completely cleared out because I didn't cold crash it. Normally I would cold crash. And I may go ahead and throw this in the refrigerator, cold crash it before I keg it, just so I don't have a bunch of crap in my keg. I don't know. We'll see. All right. We do got to do a little taste tester. We got to get us just a little bit of a taste tester. Oh, okay. So I do want to say a little something, something. I put in way too much nutmeg. I had a brain fart. I was making a YouTube video and not thinking again. So I've used ground nutmeg before. I put it in beers before, and I remembered I've used 1.5 teaspoons. That's what I put in. This is 1.5 gallons. My beer batches are 5 gallons. It definitely has a lot of nutmeg taste and flavor to it. And smell, like I can smell it. Like it's, I should have probably put in 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg in 1.5 gallons. Not a whole teaspoon and a half. I mean, I don't know why I did that. Oh yeah. That's a lot of nutmeg. I am, however, going to try to add some different spices and just let it sit and see what that does for it. I do want to say that I come up with these recipes straight off the cuff. I literally went to the grocery store, picked up a bunch of apple cider, and was like, I want to make a hard apple cider and apple pie moonshine today. And I turned on the camera, and that's what I did. I didn't really practice these, but I did it like that on purpose. I did it kind of for a reason. I didn't really, I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't present it as well as I was hoping I was going to. But these are my first videos, so I'm trying not to beat myself up too much about my presentation. I hope I get better. I lost a little more there than I kind of wanted to, but there's a lot of crap in the bottom of that. And if any of that nutmeg did settle out, because it's a ground nutmeg, I don't know. Maybe it's in the bottom, maybe it's not. So I'm going to pasteurize this because we're going to be back sweetening it. It might also help out with the flavor after it's back sweetened. So yeah, I'm going to get this over on the stove. We're going to pasteurize this whole kit and caboodle. All right, guys. Now to pasteurize, I got my double bottom pot. I got my fire on about medium. Now this is a double bottom pot, so it's, even though that's sitting on the bottom, it's not sitting directly on the heat. The water level's all the way up to here. Okay, so I literally just take this thermometer thingamabobber and I set it in there. I try not to let it go to the bottom and touch the bottom because I want an accurate reading. Okay. Now I'll put this thing over the top of it and I just set that on top just to try to help with evaporative loss of alcohol. And this thing, I just set it to 140 degrees and it will go off when it hits 140, and I'll just shut the fire off for 30 minutes. All right, we got our hard apple cider here. It's been pasteurized. Took it up to 140 degrees. I just shut the burner off, let it sit over there in that hot water for like 30 minutes. Then I pulled this whole thing out, set it on the counter, left the lid on kind of loose, but it was on for a couple hours, let it cool. And I mean, it's still a little warm. It's probably, I don't know, 100 degrees. I put in a couple allspice berries and another clove. So I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit longer. I know this video is taking a long time to get out, but I am trying to add more spice to try to kind of counteract it. It's kind of a big mistake. Like I said, I preached not to add too much, and then my dumminess. I'm gonna try to save it. Either way, I'm gonna finish the video and I'm gonna post it because I want y'all to know that I put in too much nutmeg. And hopefully I can get it to where, and I still haven't back sweetened this either. So hopefully when I back sweetened it also, that'll help change the flavor profile a little bit as well. And I'm also going to add CO2 to it. You know, we'll just have to see what happens. I guess it fits my whole theme here. I'm a little unsightly. I'm probably gonna have to edit that out. That is probably extremely loud. I touched it. Maybe one of these days I'll invest in a better mic. I don't know. We'll see how this whole YouTube thing goes first before I go spending a bunch of money. That's not gonna fit. I knew that wasn't gonna fit. That's why I sanitized this. I still grabbed it though. I'm not the smartest crown in the box. Hold on, I gotta sanitize one more kit and caboodle thingamabobber here. Man, there's a shadow from this thing, I think, right on my dome. Allspice. No. Nutmeg. I don't know.